big breaking news. The PGA Tour has agreed to merge with Live Golf as one entity. So all of the major golf tours and tournaments will all be now under one umbrella. PGA and Live are merging, and this is a huge deal from what it sounds like, Thom. This is going to change the name of the PGA Tour. They're going to play it under a new name. I don't know what that means for the history of the PGA Tour. I don't know what that means for all the records. I don't know what that means for everything that golf has built over the last 150 years. But all these guys that went and took the money and went to Live and now I guess have sort of in a way been vindicated. They look like the smartest guys in the room. They went and they got paid. They got a year of bad PR, but I don't think any of them care about that.
Sorry, we were talking about my Sorry about that. We were talking about my dad when the ham and egger section, but we're back. But Thom, these guys took hundreds of millions of dollars. Yep. In return, they lost their tour card. It then came out that they could go play in majors, so they're winning majors again. And 1 year later, they took the hundreds of millions of dollars, and they got their tour card back. Look, I can't believe this.
I've been asking people this question about this, and they look at me like I had four heads. Kind of like the way this show's going right now.
Hey.
Whoa.
Paul.
Oh, what?
Okay, there we are. Hi.
No,
nice to see you.
We were on. That was the
Welcome.
TVs. That was the TVs.
Back.
We were still on.
We're still live, Thom.
Look, I have been asking this question because to me this seemed like this was a direction sooner or later this thing was going to end up with. Now, some of the details that are starting to leak out about this thing is here's what's even more amazing, in my opinion. Okay, we all know, and this is where I got to be honest with you. I mean, if there is ever anything that applies to money talks and bullshit walks, this is it. Okay? The high and mighty out there, and you decide on who they are. Okay? Talked about Saudi Arabian money. Okay? Despite the fact that the LPGA Tour, and that's a separate entity, I get it, but that the LPGA Tour was the number one sponsor of the LPGA Tour is Saudi Arabian money. Number one, by far. I think they said of the 32, if I read right, of the 32 biggest sponsors of the PGA Tour, 18 or 19 of the 32 do business in Saudi Arabia. Okay? So look, if you want to say it's blood money, you call it whatever you want. I'm not calling it that. All right? But that's what the high and mighties and tell you how to live your life. Right? They all said, we're not getting in bed with the Saudis. No way. Even though all these companies that pay us all these tens of millions of dollars a year, they're in bed in Saudi Arabia doing business. Here's the deal. On this new thing, the governor of Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, the guy who funded the entire Live Tour, right? This is the money behind the fund that started Live Golf. He will join the board of the PGA Tour. This guy is on the board, okay? Well, hold on. That's not enough. The same guy is going to be the chairman of this new group. The chairman. Okay, so you can dress this up and say it's kind of folding into the PGA. Mr. Monahan, of course, who is the PGA Tour Commissioner, Jay Monahan, he will be the CEO and the PGA Tour having a majority stake in this new venture. Okay? So, the PIF, which is this fund, has dumped more than $2 billion into the golf enterprise, which critics out there, as I mentioned, have claimed is a form of sports washing. That's what they call it, sports washing, to repair the Saudi Arabian monarchy's history of human rights violations. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here. I read a lot about this stuff. just because I find it interesting. But I'm no expert on any of these things. But what I do know here is this is an unbelievable deal. It's an unbelievable announcement, but it's even further evidence of where's the money.
Money always wins.
And money will trump all of those who, at the end of the day, tell you that we can't be doing this because of ... You fill in the blank on any topic out there.
How do you feel if you're the guys who turned down the Live Tour money? Tiger Woods turned down $800 million, Thom, to plant a flag and say, I'm morally right, I'm going to stick with the PGA. Of course, Tiger Woods doesn't need the money, but $800 million?
If you're a borderline PGA guy, and I'm not talking about the guys, because you had to have the guys like Tiger and Rory who have made their money, don't need the money, and somebody needed to be on the side of the PGA, and they were. Those were those guys. I'm talking about the borderline guys, the guys who were good, maybe win some tournaments here and there, but aren't really competing for top tens in the majors consistently. Whoever those guys were that maybe got offered money that we don't know about, that turned it down because they wanted to do the morally right thing and stay with the PGA Tour. How do those guys feel right now? Jay Monahan looks like the biggest weasel in the world, right?
Well, I mean, and what about all these fans? And look, some of you are out there. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But what about all these fans? Oh, my God. The Live Tour. It's the evil empire. Right?
Yeah.
Hate the Live Tour. Hate the Saudi money. Hate the guys that left. Now, all of a sudden,
they're back.
you okay to just welcome everybody under the fold, under one big happy family now? Of course you are. You know why? Because you're not going to have tournaments that were PGA-sanctioned events where all of a sudden there's no Brooks Koepka. There's no Dustin Johnson, right? There's no all these guys.
Phil tweeting, awesome day today. Phil.
You don't think he's sticking his chest out a little bit today, do you?
Oh, my God.
I mean, at the end of the day, Greg Norman is the face of Live, but Phil Mickelson is the current player's face of Live, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the guy. I mean, they all just slaughtered this guy, right? Rory, all of them. Killing Mickelson, right?
So, Thom, and I guess maybe we don't play any sad music here, but here's the only highlight I can remember from the Live Tour. Here's Chase Koepka's hole-in-one. Brooks' brother in Australia.
There we go. That's pretty good. That's really good. That looks like 16 at the Phoenix Open.
That's awesome. Are they really going to rename the company?
So that's what it's saying here. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. There's
that's
not
what-
a lot out about this yet.
That's what they're saying is that it's not going to be the PGA Tour anymore. It's not. So imagine this. Imagine you are Rory McIlroy and you turn down the money, like you said,
Right.
and you're
Hundreds of
doing
millions.
you're hundreds of millions of dollars, which, to be fair, again, these guys probably don't need. But you turn down the money.
I mean, not needing $100 million.
I know. But they don't need it as much as like the borderline guys do.
I get it.
You turn down this money, and all of a sudden this comes out. And not only do you merge with Liv, but there's a potential that there are going to be new record books. You're playing under a new name. Is Liv the winner here?
It's hard to say. Till
I
we
mean,
learn more
maybe
about
winner
it,
is
it's
too-
a perfectly logical question.
Maybe winner is too strong because we don't know enough details
Yeah,
of
right.
this yet. We only
Details.
have the press release from the PGA Tour and some other little details here and there. But I think you can at least ask the question at this point did Live Golf get more out of this than the PGA Tour did? And I think that's a very logical way to look at this.
There's
because
no doubt.
for the
answer to that
PGA
question is yes.
for the PGA Tour, for it not to be called the PGA Tour anymore, and whatever the history, there's no way they're going to like start fresh on history. That just can't happen, right? Right?
No, I think you're right. They're not.
But,
I mean, Liv hasn't been around long enough to sort of alter all those sorts of record books or things like that. But I know where you're
But
going.
I'm just saying, they make up some new name, Major League Golf,
Right.
Whatever,
World Golf, whatever.
whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
Saudi
it is.
Golf.
Yeah, whatever it is, and they just start making new records there. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, listen, in the release, right? We know about all the legal battles and all this kind of thing, but they agree to, quote unquote, merge and move forward in a larger commercial business. Commercial being the key word there, because that is just another word for
Money.
Money.
How long do you think this has been in the works? Do you think it was the Brooks Koepka thing that started this? Because I know there's been a bunch of lawsuits between these LIV and the PGA for a while now. But was it the Brooks winning the PGA Championship, getting another exemption? So half those LIV guys are exempted from all the majors anyway. So you're going to see them in all the tournaments on the PGA anyway. But do you think Brooks's win on the PGA Championship sparked this?
I think it helped it. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah.
I also think, though, that at the end of the day, and it's going to be really interesting to see the players' role in all of this behind the scenes, right? Because, look, all of these guys that went over to LIV, they still want to be able to qualify in the points. They want to be able to play in the Ryder Cup, all of those kind of things that were in jeopardy, okay? They want that. They also want to be able to play in the regular events. The fans want them to play in the regular. I mean, I got to tell you, the Memorial Tournament has always been one of the best tournaments there is. After the majors, you can make an argument that the TPC and the Memorial are the two biggest non-major events every single year. It's Jack Nicklaus's tournament. Everybody wants to be there, right? Now, all of a sudden, I mean, Hovland's a big name. And there was maybe one other name on there that most people, recognize. But outside of that, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's just not. And so I think the golf fans ultimately win on this, right?
I think so. Yeah, they're definitely the winners. I mean, Paul said, is LIV winning or PGA winning? I think the fans win first off, and the golfers that signed with LIV originally win second because they got their money and now they're getting their tour cards back. It at least seems in some capacity. So those are definitely the two winners. I mean, Brooks Koepka won the PGA Championship, and we weren't going to get to watch him. I mean, unless you're tuning into the CW, we weren't going to get to watch him for another couple months, and he's one of the biggest names in golf. So definitely a win for fans.
Yeah.
It feels like the PGA still could have waited them out, though. If they wanted to take the moral high ground, LIV wasn't really growing. Like Jacob just said, they were on the CW, and their broadcasts were getting pulled for top 50 animals of the past month. That's a real show they have on the CW, and it was bumping LIV broadcasts. It seems like the speed of this is shocking to me. I would not have expected this to happen right now. But I don't know. I don't know how long this has been in the works. Maybe it's been in the works from the beginning, as soon as Brooks and Phil took the deal. I don't know, but like Paul said, Jay Monahan, the PGA Tour commissioner, that guy looks like a fool, a clown.
Why?
Because he had a bunch of comments right from the beginning bashing the morality of LIV. And now he's joining, he's excited about it, he's pumped for it. He loves it. They're gonna grow the game together now with LIV.
It's really, really interesting. Really, really, and like I said, I just can't wait to hear what role, and there's no doubt that the players, both in LIV and in the PGA, right, they had to be huge driving forces behind this thing.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, when you look at all like we're talking about with guys that look, the other thing too, players, if you're allowed to play for a major, like Brooks Koepka has talked a lot through his career, and that's why he's been so divisive about how he wants to go play in a major. He doesn't really care about everything else. He just wants to play in the majors. And if he can play in the majors and win some majors, that's what matters. He doesn't care about the little tournaments. He doesn't care about winning the Memorial. So for these players that were getting exemptions to play and win majors, it hadn't happened yet. But now that Brooks had won a major, you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, he's going to get the exemptions. He's going to be back. He's going to keep playing in majors. He looks as good as he ever has. And especially after everything that he went through, if anybody had watched Full Swing, then you'd know that. Everything that he comes through, he comes out of it on the other side. He's winning a major. And now he gets to go back and get the money. He gets paid. He wins a major. He gets paid hundreds of millions of dollars. He comes back. He wins a major.
Gets the tour card back.
Gets the tour card back. Well, whatever it's called.
Yeah. It's going to be something to
Now
it.
here we are. I mean, these guys, I think Elliot or I forget which one of you said it. It felt like they could have almost waited it out.
Yeah.
It felt like they could have waited this out. But
What do you think Brando Chambly?
oh, he is in shambles. He is in absolute shambles.
Well, I mean, Colin Morikawa tweeted out just a few minutes ago. So, I mean, here's where maybe I'm just totally out of whack and way off pace. I'm just guessing. Colin Morikawa tweeted 40 minutes ago, I love finding out morning news on Twitter. Now, I don't know if that means he's surprised by all this is happening. Eric Engels is reporting a bunch of these tweets going out by PGA Tour golfers are really something. He said, I cannot believe the tour would make the decision to merge with LIV without informing its members. Kyle Porter, CBS. I'm sure Rory McIlroy is really pleased with the tour, rolling him out week after week to fight its battle so that in the end, Phil, Brooks, Bryson, DJ, and others could walk away with $500 million and reunification with the league that he defended and they defected. It's going to be very interesting to see this whole thing.
But I